This is Andres Escalade.
Okay, we do it? What's up guys, welcome to another video. I'm happy to be back since it's been a few weeks. I've been dealing with these injuries on my fingers. I still have them, but I filmed a few sessions basically just trying different styles like dynos, slabs, and not just try harding on the board or doing massive crimps on hard boulders. These are cool sessions that I really want to share, and let's just get started. Alright, so first boulder of the session, and this was from today's session. And as you can see, I put up the grade on the side, my personal grade, so what I felt like the grade was, and also the tries I gave. So as you can see, this is a massive dyno, and you have to stop the momentum by kicking your foot on the wall. And I was trying it with my brother here, and we had a hard time just getting the right positioning to go to the next hold and stopping the momentum by kicking the feet and grabbing the hold at the same time. We were getting a little closer, and you'll see in this attempt I'm almost getting that move by just stopping it, but then my foot slipped. So it was a close attempt, but in this one I got the send of it, and you'll see I'm gonna stop on this hold. And I wasn't expecting it actually. I just wanted to go the most static I could and then generate again, but I could somehow just stop on the first one. And then this ending was a little weird because you have to put this knee bar on the right. That hurts. But some people told me you can just kind of slap the last hold and not necessarily use a knee bar. So this worked for me, but I don't know what the right better was for the last move. But anyways, this was a crazy sick boulder to start the session. Okay, next boulder. We have this V10 that every hold is pretty bad, but if you have the grip strength, I feel like this is a pretty accessible V10. So the linking wasn't necessarily hard. It was mostly finding the right beta for you at the ending, and especially the first part was just holding on to these holds. So when I got there on my first attempt, I was incredibly confused. I thought it was like crossing like this and probably matching that crimp, but it was terribly bad. So you probably have to press on the volume like this and then go to the crimp. But the box is very small for me, so I really needed to find something else, which is what I did on my second try. I got to this point, and for me it felt possible to just crimp this arete, and it was actually pretty good. It was a decent, let's say 5 to 6 millimeter crimp. So even though the skin really hurt from that one, I was like, fuck it, that's gonna be my beta. As you can see, I gave it around 10 tries. And most of those tries were just me grabbing this crimp on the volume and trying to do the last move, which is what I failed, but I felt so close to it that I just tried it from the ground, and well, I could get the send of it. So that was a cool, confusing V10. Okay, so we're back with another session, and this is actually the first one I filmed. It was probably a week and a half ago. And this boulder was epic because it's a huge paddle that you can't really stop on any hold. So you just kind of have to go left, right, left, and match. And especially the matching is the important part, because you can't really just grab the last one and hold one hand. You would need to be like Serrato or another athlete, but that hold is a semi-jug, more of a sloper. So you need the two hands and then hold the swing. And I was trying it with my friends, and we were all hyped because this paddle was awesome. And you can see my friend is giving it a very good try there, and we actually sent it, the three of us, but I was the only one to get it that day. And this attempt, I was close. I was like, okay, yeah, two hands on that one and it's over. And this is what I did on this attempt. I basically just jumped the fastest I could and really just committing to that move, not really trying to stop on any move. I didn't try the ending alone because I knew the crux would just be to do the paddle, but the ending was chill. But not gonna lie, when I did my first attempt, I said I would send it on my third one, and I failed. Yeah, I didn't accomplish my goal. I think the 10 tries for a paddle is not too bad. Unless you're in comps, that would be terrible. Okay, so next boulder. I don't have much to say about this one, but it's a Circus 7, which is V8 to V9. And personally, it felt V8-ish because there wasn't a move that felt too challenging. It was mostly about beta, and especially in this section, figuring out how to move to the left and transition slowly to really cross on the undercling, and then this move that felt probably the hardest one individually. Overall, I feel like it was a solid V8 and it was a nice climb, nothing too special about it. Okay, now we're cooking. This was my goal for this session, getting this boulder, and I tried it one session earlier. I gave it all I could, but I had like no time left. I had no skin, my fingers were hurting, and I was kind of pumped because I tried this boulder for probably 2 hours. But in this session, I knew all the beta, all I needed was to execute. But the thing is, when you're up here, the crimp, this one, doesn't feel too good and you're already pumped out. And this next move is probably the crux. And when you try it individually, just from starting in this position, it doesn't feel too bad. Maybe a V9 move, maybe V9 plus. But the thing is, after all that beginning, it's like you get up there and you really don't want to drop it, but you're already kind of pumped. And yeah, I feel like it's a solid V10. As you can see, I gave it a full 20 tries. And most of the tries were just me figuring out the beta, because once I got the moves, they didn't feel too bad. And I tried the ending a couple of times and I could get it easily, but again, getting here, you're kind of pumped and it's not really easy to do this move because it feels like a counterintuitive move, but you're like pushing on different directions. So this move felt weird to go to because you're like this, and when you go, you immediately push on different directions. And at first I thought it was just right hand and then you have to match this capped crimp, which would be terrible, I know, but it was not good enough to match it. My friend actually said, yeah, just go left hand, and it didn't feel natural there. But once I did it, it was a weird move, but it felt like that was the right beta. But anyways, I did this move finally from the ground, and I was like, there is no way I'm dropping this ending. So I gave all I had on this ending section, and I could get the send finally. After all those tries, I was happy I got my goal for this session. So 5-star again for this boulder. Alright, so we're back at Sainte-Foy, and this V8 was weird to me. I couldn't get the flash because the middle section had a Toehook on it, and lately I've been noticing the route setters have been putting a lot of Toehooks, and I feel like it's one of my worst weakness, and I've been working on it, but it always feels awkward because I have long arms, I have long legs, and it's weird to create this tension to like keep the Toehook in and then go to the next hold. It feels like I never have the box, but I feel like it's good to work on it because I can't just heel hook anything I see. So it didn't feel too easy for me. I know some people may be calling it soft, but for me it wasn't. I feel like it was a solid V8. But anyways, we're on a V9 slab now, and this is exactly what I need to be working on, because all of these holds were ass. Like, all of them are bad. You can see in the video, you just have a small lip that you can put your fingers on, but it's basically just open crimping every hold, and it's mostly friction dependent. So you're not really like pulling, you're just kind of dragging, and really, if you can be low on these holds, you're gonna be better. So that was a really weird one, but I feel like that was perfect. Since I'm injured on my fingers, this wasn't really hurting my fingers at all. It was mostly a beta thing, and I tried it twice in my first session, and there was no way I was holding on to any of these holds. But in this session, I was just going at it, and this last move was probably the hardest one because you're in a weird Gaston with the right hand, kind of like under, and then you have to bring your foot up, and matching wasn't too easy because when you're matching, you're like, you have this weird shouldery move. So I would say the matching was the hardest part of the climb. But I was very happy to be getting that one because at first it seemed impossible, and then I somehow could just hold on to these holds and it felt possible all of a sudden. And you can see him also doing another slab, this V8, that felt very weird. Again, it wasn't hurting at all because you don't really have crimps in this boulder, but the ending was weird because all of these triangles are good enough to just keep yourself on the wall, but you have to transition weirdly, and I don't have much to say about that climb. It was just kind of a weird one. But this one, man, again, this is the style I need to be working on, and my friend actually motivated me because I touched those first hold and they were terrible. I didn't want to touch that boulder again, but when he did it, he made it look pretty easy, and actually when I tried it again, it didn't feel too bad. It was just this ending that was very, very scary. And look at this try. I got to that point and I slipped, and then I just went at it, but I was not in control. So this is the descent, and what I did differently is just trusting my feet and trying to not be scared of just going at it, because lately I've been kind of, for some reason, scared of just trusting my feet and putting weight on it. But in this boulder you really can't afford to be scared, because look at this last move. When you're standing up on this volume, you need to match your feet, and you don't really have any hands. You're kind of just, you need to transition and just go at it, because the last hold is good and it's just a press, but you have to transition fast. So this felt like a nice win. It was a cool boulder. I was also proud to get this one done in my first attempt, and I saw my strong friend climbing on it, and he's better than me at slopes. And you can see all of these next holds are slopey, weird pinches, and I didn't think I would flash it because I'm usually not too good at this style. I usually flash the crimpy stuff, but when I got up there, I was pretty surprised that I could just hold on to all of these holds, and thankfully this last hold was good because I was close to falling. So another great boulder from the new reset. And now this was the real project of the session. I didn't think much of this boulder at first. I thought it was gonna be a pretty easy V10, but turned out to be just a beta type of boulder. When you figure out your beta, it doesn't feel too bad if you're fresh. But the thing is, I tried it so many times on that session. I tried it 10 times, probably a little more actually, probably 15 times. And I was just figuring out my beta, what to do in the middle section, especially this move. After matching this one with the Toehook, what I figured is you have to pinch the left hold to then go to that jug. Because when you're pinching it and go to the dyno, you can hold yourself on the left side with the thumb, which is like made all the difference, because you're gonna see here the dyno wasn't even that bad, but if I don't have the thumb, I was just floating through the right side. So that made all the difference. And I also tried the ending, but I couldn't quite get it there because the last crimp is a little blocked and you have to keep this weird tension to not barn door. But I tried it from the beginning anyways because I said, well, I'll just use more strength than usual. But at this point, I think it was like 3 hours in this session, and you'll see a super desperate dyno here that I almost dropped. And at this point, look at this, I just powered out. I was pumped. I rarely just fall from pump, but at this time I was so dead that even this jug, I felt like I was struggling and my forearms weren't working anymore. And I was close to getting this move from the ground. But even then, even if I got that move, I think I was just too pumped to do the last one. So it was not happening on that session. But 2 days after, I went back there. I was fresh, I knew the beta. And that's the thing, when you have the strength and the beta, the climb is just a grade under. It feels easier to just climb it because you already know what to do. You just need to execute it. It was like that blue boulder I did earlier in the other gym. But I got to this point, I was not pumped finally, but I still managed to choke the ascent because when I got here, this move felt fine and I underestimated this last move. The same thing happened from the last session. I kind of just went at it, but then the barn door kept me out of the wall and I couldn't hold the swing. And anyways, I got the send on this one. Too bad the camera didn't film the beginning, but we see this middle section and I managed to static this move and then cut loose, which I think it was a bad idea because cut losing was way easier. But anyways, I got here and the next move felt fine. And what I changed here is just lifting my right foot up so then I could match slowly and go to the last move. And I was getting pumped, but I got a good send of it. So that was a nice V10 that I think was pretty accessible. It was mostly a beta thing, but I was happy to be getting that one. Yeah, I tried this boulder a little, but as you can see, this felt incredibly hard, and I didn't get the send of it, of course, but one of the athletes at my gym, Hugo, could get this paddle, which is his strength. But for me, man, this paddle feels impossible because you gotta go left, right, left. And when you match this big hold, you gotta generate again on those two holds that aren't even jugs. So yeah, I gave it a few tries, but it felt too hard for me. So we're back with another session, and this time it's at Pierre Bertrand. And this was a very cool wall because it was full of dynos, and we don't see the grades in there, but I put the grade on the side. And this first V6 felt actually maybe easier than V6, but I failed it once and I was sad because I should have flashed it, but I failed because I need to be working on these dynos like I'm doing right now. But this purple boulder felt hard. It didn't have a grade, but personally I feel like it was a V7 plus because you have to catch the swing with the heel hook like this, and it's probably the first time I do this type of move, but I feel like it's good to try it because it could be a move in a competition. But anyways, we're on a V7 now, and this one felt hard. I almost put like V8 plus on the personal grading because you have to land on this crimp, which is not too good, and at the same time you have to switch the feet and keep the tension. So it's a hard move for V7. I don't see many people getting this one, so it's probably a little sandbag. I think it's a hard boulder, unless I'm just bad at dynos. It could really just be that. And I also tried this V8 that felt impossible at first because I was not having the right beta. I thought it was a one move boulder that you just have to go left, right, left, and somehow manage to keep the feet on. But when I tried it again in this session, the next one, I tried it with my friend, and he told me you have to stop in the first one. So the kind of the sloper you see, you have to switch your feet and then squeeze hard with the left hand. So this is my friend Fernand, and he's good at dynos, so he had to show me how it's done. But I feel like if he didn't tell me, I probably wouldn't have guessed it because it felt like a weird move, and you have to try it a lot of times to get the hang of it. But in there, he got it again, and I had no choice but to get it after a send of him. So you'll see, when I get it, it looks like a V5 move, maybe like a V4. Look at this. It looks easy, but the thing is, you're squeezing so hard, and we don't see it much in the video, but yeah, it's a hard move, and you saw all the attempts before. It wasn't an easy move, but it somehow looked easy when I sent it. But that was a cool boulder to be working on. And I also did this boulder on the previous session that I probably shouldn't have done. If I'm being honest, when I got to this crimp, I was using more finger strength than I wanted it to. And I feel like these type of climbs, I should be avoiding them for now because my pulleys are not totally healed right now. So if I see crimps, I should just not even look at it and try to do more dynos, more slabs, whatever I need to do, but just get away from these boulders to avoid getting more injured in my fingers. Once again, we have a big project on this session, and this time it's on a V10 that gave me nightmares. Man, I swear this V10, I failed the last move like 15 times or maybe more. I'm not even kidding. All of this section felt fine. This was probably my first attempt. I got up there, and like on my second attempt, I got to the last move and I dropped the jug. As you can see, I'm having this weird beta where I have my toe hook still on the right side. So I'm like 6'6" reach, and I'm completely spanned. So I know that's not the right beta, but it worked for me. But the thing is, when I need to get that toe hook off, the last move is really hard because you have to generate from these very bad holds and at the same time leave the toe hook. And I tried this beta of going statically, but you can see my arm was shaking. I was already pumped. I think it was like 2 hours into that session and I didn't have much juice left. And that was the last try I gave. Very close, but I couldn't get it that day. And I was sad, but I knew the next session I could get it. So this was on my second session. And I still didn't get the send right away. But I tried the beta of going statically again, which was just leaving the toe hook and not going for the jump. Just like squeezing hard with these two holds. And it was a very powerful move. But if I was fresh like I was there, it wasn't too bad like last session. So I could get a nice send of it, and I was proud because I didn't want to drop it again. After 15 or more times, it was affecting my mental a lot. So another great send. Okay, so last boulder of this video. This is a V9 slab once again. And as you can notice, all of these hands are bad, but especially the footholds. So you're standing on these micro footholds and you somehow have to hold on to these very bad hands. And my first try, it felt like it would have been a hard boulder, but then my friend was giving me beta, and on my second try I managed to get to the middle section, and it's not a long climb. Like, you do this beginning, you transfer to the right side, and then you have this last move of pressing with the small undercling that you see up there. So on my second try, I got this small crimp. I don't even know if I can call this a crimp. It was like a foothold used as a crimp. And I failed there, but on my third try, I could get the send. And what I did differently was basically just standing, like putting more weight on my feet, and on the right side you see this arête. Well, I didn't see it at first, but when I got there I put my right foot and immediately went for the arête, which was pretty good, but I had to do this small coordination to not fall, because the left hand you need to flip it, and I almost missed it, but it made up for a nice move. And this last move, I kind of forgot the beta for it because I saw my friend doing it, but you kind of have to do the split, and even though it's not clean, I could get the send of it. So another great practice for all these different styles that I've been trying. And again, this V9 slab felt impossible at first, but it only took me 3 to 4 tries, which I was surprised. But when you figure out the beta, and when you know what to do for your next try, it doesn't feel as bad as you thought. So in conclusion, these were very, very cool sessions because it was mostly about trying different styles, not necessarily try-harding to my max and potentially getting another injury, but just adapting to these boulders and trying the most styles I can, like I did in all these sessions that I wouldn't normally try, because I'm usually just board climbing, I'm usually just going to the hard boulders, and they usually have crimps. Yeah, I feel like it was a great practice, and I should be doing this for a few months if I really want to heal my fingers. But I'm glad I did this video, and these sessions were very nice to film. Oh, I also got this goal of getting 100 V10 in by the end of the year. I did my first V10 2 years ago. Since then, it's like 50 V10s per year. So I got my 100th a few days ago, and well, that was one of my goals to get for the end of the year. But I also need to get 20 V11s, and I only need 3 more, and 3 V12s, which I need just 1 more. And I know these are just great goals, but yeah, it's something I'm giving myself as a challenge. So at least I got the first one, the V10 done, and then we'll see about the other ones. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll leave you with an outro and some possible bloopers. See you next time.